My name is Porscha Sterling, and welcome to my channel. If you've been here already, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you. I've been on quite a long hiatus, but it was all for good reason. I have been finishing up my book. It's the first book to my next series. My next series is called Sons of God, and honestly, this is the only series that I've started where I literally see it being an infinite number of books, because the idea that I have for this series, ideas, I should say, are just never ending. Like, I just have so much, so much I want to put into this series, so many different things going into it. It literally made it so hard to condense everything down to one book for this first book, because let me step back and say, like, if you don't know, it's a romantasy series, so that's blending romance and fantasy together. And so because of that, I was able to do a lot of world building and create like a whole new world for this book, and come up with I'm a research junkie anyways, so being able to research so many things that are exciting and interesting to me and use them in this book it was just an amazing experience. And honestly, this book has taken much longer than I intended to get out, because of the fact that there's so many times where I got lost in the experience of researching and learning and just forgot, like, hey girl, like, turn off your devices, stop looking up stuff, stop reading stuff, stop looking at documentaries, because you actually need to write the book. Like, my distractions weren't even distractions. It was weird, because I'm always saying, like, limit your distractions so you can get your job done, but my distractions were like everything, because literally, I'm building a new world for this book. And so whether I'm watching a series on TV, or I'm reading the Bible or some other religious text, all of that helped with this. So it was just so hard to pull myself out of that, but I'm happy to say I'm getting there. So if you haven't seen it already, I did debut the cover for this series, and I love it. It's so different from my other covers from a lot of my series, but different in a way that I'm just so excited about, because it shows the romance aspect of it. Like, of course, I have a male and female character on it, the two people that are at the center of this epic love story, but then also it has so many other symbols on it that relate to the symbolism built into the story. And some things you may recognize, some symbolism some you may not. It just kind of depends on where you fall in your journey of life and things that you've kind of dove into yourself. If you're spiritually inclined, you might notice some things, and then when you read the book, you'll see how that feeds into the story. But the great thing is, tomorrow I'll be putting out a companion book called The Archive. It's Sons of God, The Archive. I'll show you guys the cover after I'm done explaining what it is. But this book is totally free. I'm just giving it away. It has some questions in it. It contains an interview between the advanced readers that I had check out this first book, and they left some questions about the series, or about this first book. No spoilers are in it, and I answered those questions to kind of give a little bit of behind the scenes information about the characters, my setup for the series, and my thoughts on what prompted me to come up with this type of story at this particular time. And so that is kind of just to get you guys ready mentally, so you know what to expect and what's coming, and also to explain some of the key words and themes that you might see in there. There's, like I said, it's a fantasy, so there's different types of beings in the book. And so this book that is called The Archive gives you some background on the world and how it came to be and the different beings that are mentioned in the book. Now that I've told you about the archive and what is included in it, here is the cover. Bing. So if you've done any kind of research in the spiritual aspect of things, you'll probably recognize this symbol is very similar to the Flower of Life symbol. I made some changes to it based off of my vision for this book. If you look at the symbol, like in the very center is a fiery spark, and then there's like little, branches that come from that spark, little sparks that come from that. And so the thought process from this, I talk about it inside of the archive, is that spark is like God, the God spark, the spark of creation, the spark of consciousness that created everything. And from that, it just continued to multiply. It's almost like how you have the first man, the first woman, the first people. And if you think of that as the first spark, and then from that, we've multiplied and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied to where you have all of these branchings out from a single individual. So that's the idea behind this world, is that there's multiple worlds and multiple levels of entities in this world based off of that single spark. So yeah, I give more info in the book. And like I said, it'll be available for free, so make sure you get it tomorrow. I'll make another video to remind you, or you can join my mailing list and I'll remind you there as well. If you've read any of the sneak peeks that I put out on my website, you know that there's this other world called Ethera. And in Ethera, the Etherians that live there are like what we would call gods and goddesses, simply because on the pecking order of things, they're above us. They're responsible for creating humans. So they have different powers that we have as a creation from them, but they have it in like excess. Like they have the most powerful manifestation of these things. So like it would be like how women have intuition. So a lot of the goddesses in Ethera, they're oracles, and they literally can see the future, or they have a knowingness about things, and that's their power that they can tap into at any time. And it's extremely powerful because they are the source of that, versus like them creating, women on earth who have a little bit of that. So every now and then we, might get an intuitive hit, and that's because where the humans in this world and the women in this world came from, they came from a goddess that was her main thing. So like different things like that is how, like it's kind of like the information that I'll give in this book, The Archive. Give you some background on the gods and goddesses. Like I said, they don't see themselves as gods and goddesses. They see themselves as just themselves, and they created humans. It's almost like how, and I say this in the archive, like it's almost how we create, there's people creating AI humans or AI versions of beings now. And let's say at some point these beings became sentient, and they would look at us as gods because we created them, and they have a piece of us built into them, but we're just like, no, we're human, like we're not that. But so that's kind of how it is with them. It's that dynamic. So yeah, it was just really fun. I have to say, really fun to create this. And that's why I had to take this long break to kind of dive into it and get rid of all the distractions and get the meat of the book done. But I will say there is one distraction that was not able to escape me, and that was Miss Kayla Nicole and her Breezy Bowl experience on that stage. I mean, I'm low-key obsessed with Chris Brown anyways, so it just was hard for me to like pull away any of my attention from what was happening with the Breezy Bowl anyways. So the fact that that happened, I had to like, first of all, give my girl kudos for doing what she did. Thank you for that. But then secondly, it just was so interesting to me because prior to taking my hiatus, when Travis Kelce got engaged to Taylor Swift, I noticed that there was so many conversations on TikTok where people were like bashing her, but specifically Black men. And that's what was like, what? You know, that's kind of how I felt. But there were so many videos with Black men talking about how Travis Kelce had upgraded and all this stuff because Kayla Nicole was, you know, a gold digger and she didn't feel like she needed to work and she was a liability and all of this stuff. And honestly, it was just so annoying to me because I felt like it was just opening up the comment section for people to just bash her, but specifically a lot of racist women were just going in and, you know, elevating Taylor Swift above Kayla for their own reasons, you know, of jealousy or whatever. And, you know, it's not to say that Taylor Swift isn't a great woman. I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is, like, I just was horrified at the amount of Black men that were positioning their audience in a way, or setting it up, like rage baiting their audience into tear down this Black woman. And so now that this has happened and she got on that stage and did what she did, now it's interesting because a lot of those same men are now like, oh my gosh, I'm so in love. How can I get me a Kayla Nicole? And blah, blah, blah. Like, weren't you the same one that was saying that she was a liability because she had the audacity to say that, you know, she's made a comment like, do I look like the type of person that's paying my own bills, or do I look like the type of person that's paying the tab for dinner or something like that? And the level of outrage that a lot of these men had, like, oh my God, like she's not paying, da 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 da. You know, but then now my dog is making noises. I guess she want me to take her out. I don't know. But then now they have all of this, like, this discourse happening where it's like, oh, I want to have a woman like her. And it made me think of this interesting, like, situation that a lot of women have, especially, like, really beautiful women find themselves in these situations where they are desired by men who don't want to properly even put in work to take care of them. But they want the women that put in work to take care of themselves. Because let me tell you, like, looking like that isn't easy. Like, being able to live the life and be happy and joyful and beautiful and all of the things that Kayla Nicole is, that's not like an easy thing for her to do. Like, there's a lot of upkeep that goes into being able to shine like that and look like that. And even just on an emotional standpoint, like, there's a lot that has to be done to emotionally be happy and bright and pleasant all the time. And a lot of people desire that, and a lot of men especially desire that of a woman, but don't want to be responsible for that. Don't want to be responsible for it. They just want to siphon it. Yeah, most women, yeah, they're typically still giving. They give everything if they have it. Like, if they love somebody, there's not much that they are not going to give to that person if they love them. Because like I said, there's some women that they probably are with people that they don't love, so they're just there to take too. But if a woman is truly in love with somebody and she feels like he's loving her correctly, like, there's no limit to what she's giving, So it was so interesting to see a lot of these men sit in a place where they're only speaking about what they can get from a situation, and also simultaneously saying that they don't expect to give anything in return because I'm just gonna sit here and I just want to receive. So yeah, to ladies everywhere, I hope that anytime you see any of these men sitting on podcasts saying things like that, and or if you come across any of their followers who believe this same rhetoric, that you just run as fast as you can. And I'll be the first to say that, yeah, I've definitely come across and found myself in situations with men who I did not even know thought like this. And yeah, it is a horrible place to be in. So just be careful out there. Like, a lot of people that desire you, they don't desire you because they are willing to take care of you. They desire you because of what you can do for them. It's not about like, oh, I desire her and I want to protect her. Like, masculine energy is protective energy. So like, if a man truly loves a woman, not only does he want to be around her, but he also wants to protect her and keep her safe and keep her happy. And he wants to put her in a container of safety where she can continue to flourish and be the best that she can be, because he's receiving from that energy. And so whenever you find yourself around a person who is like, on day one, what is it that you bring to the table? It's like, first of all, you came to me because there was something about what I was like presenting or showing or whatever that you liked, that drew you, that you wanted in your life. So for you to, on day one, position me put me in a position where I'm having to like detail to you how I can make you better or serve you is just crazy. But yeah, so that was, like I said, one distraction I was just not able to like. And it's just so interesting to me because those would be the type of men that would get a woman who is just looking great and shining and, hair done, nails done, everything did, making her own money, taking care of herself, going on vacation, working out, looking great, eating well. They would want her, and they would want to take up the time that she's investing in being able to have herself and to present herself in that way, but then they would not want to give back to continue that. So for example, she works a lot. She talked about her busy schedule. She talked about, like, I look at her podcast and she talks a lot about like the things that she does in order to maintain her life. Like, she's always on the go. She doesn't have a lot of time. She fills her time with things that pour back into herself and into her lifestyle. So a lot of these guys that have been complaining about her before but are desiring her now would be the type that are like now coming in and they want to be with her and they want to take up time and they want her to spend time with them. So they're taking up all this time that she would have for other things, but then yet they don't want to have to be the one paying for her nails to be done, and they don't want to be the ones that are paying for her to go to dinner, as far as what they said. They want to live with her and be with her, but they don't want to be the only ones paying for her bills because, hey, you need to be paying for that, is what they were saying. But yet they're taking up all this time from where she was pouring into themselves or pouring into herself, and now they kind of want to siphon that and be around that energy and take from that energy but not give back anything other than, well, that's basically it. I don't know what they wanted to get back, because literally when I was listening to all of this, the reason why they were idealizing Taylor Swift was because of all the things that she could give and how she could make, like, they use the word asset. She was an asset. She could pay for things. She could do this. And if he what's his name? Travis Kelce broke a leg and couldn't play football anymore or whatever, she could take over and nurture him and do this. And so it always like about what you can take from a person, never about anything about what can be given back. And it's such an interesting like manner of thinking, because so many women, like good women, obviously there's good people and bad people, but so many good women don't even think like that. Women, for the most part, are typically very giving when they love a man, and they give everything. And so I'm not able to ignore it, because I had just seen, like literally a few weeks ago, these same podcasters, these same guys saying something like totally different. Now they're all like, oh, I want her. It's like, yeah, you would ruin her. Like, you would ruin her. So no, just keep going and find the woman that is okay with being your servant while you bleed her dry of all the things that make her beautiful and happy and fulfilled. But moving right along. Then, yeah, like I finished up with what I was doing, decided to peek my head out and look to see what's happening in the world. And I also saw Cardi dropped her album, so I'm gonna have to check that out. But then she announced her pregnancy, and then now there's this other stuff happening with her child's father, where it's all this. I mean, the world is just crazy these days, honestly. And I can see why it took her so long to just even talk about being pregnant and expressing her happiness, because at the end of the day, like, her situation is not any of ours. So whatever she's doing with it is like whatever she's doing with it. We don't have to deal with it. But it's so interesting how people have such hateful things to say and such strong reactions to situations that, you know, they don't even have to deal with at all, especially women. Because I mean, like, as a woman, there's been so many times I could think of where fell in love with a guy and didn't know that he had some other stuff happening that I didn't know about, and then I had to like deal with that. And so, like, my compassion goes out to anybody. Like, I can't help but be empathetic when I see like a woman having to go through that same thing, because I've been there. Like, I can't even judge it. I've been there plenty of times. So to have to endure that in the public eyes and being pregnant is just crazy. I couldn't imagine going online and like bashing her for her decisions. It's insane. I think being a writer also helps me to have empathy, I think, for both ends of things, because being a writer, you literally have to step into the lives of different characters that you create and think like them and feel into like the situation and how you would relate to it. And so it's so hard to be super judgmental when somebody's going through something, especially if they're not like deliberately being like mean and disrespectful to you personally. Like, you're just witnessing them go through something. It's so hard to just like be the angry, malicious basher of that. So I don't know. I just wish that we lived in a world that had a little bit more empathy for people. Like, is that too much to ask? I guess it is, and that's why I had to create my own world, because I'm not finding it out here at all. No. I mean, even in my own dating life, like right now, it's an interesting time to be single as a woman, because these men out here is crazy, and these women out here are crazy too. Like, that's why I just stay by myself. Well, that's not why I stay by myself. I stay by myself because I like being by myself. It's peaceful, but that's another reason why I stay by myself. I mean, I have tried to date. Well, not even tried to date, because I haven't even gotten to that point with anybody. I think, like, I was watching this interview with Olandria from Love Island, and she said that before going on Love Island, she had felt like she was single because she overhealed. And basically what she meant by that was like she had gotten through a relationship that was so toxic that, and she was forgiving and forgiving and forgiving in that one, that once she started trying to date, like the first hint of any red flag that she saw, she was like, cutting it off. And I think that's like where I'm at. Like, it's like you go from one end of the spectrum straight to the other side. Like, you're so accommodating, so forgiving, so just overlooking things that you shouldn't. And then after you get out of that and you're just looking like, dang, I look up and it's been 3 years of me doing that's gone down the drain. Then you go straight to the other end where you're not letting nobody get away with anything. And that's where I am. They ain't getting away with anything. So like, yeah, think about that. Like in certain situations, I would be so accommodating to like, oh, you said you were gonna do something and you weren't able to do it because life happened. Oh, I understand when life happens. I'm a single mother. Life happens for me all the time. It's okay. Now I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I understand life happens, but you should have communicated because that's what grown-ups do. So I bid you well. You have a good time over there. We could be cool, we could be friends, but you're never getting beyond this wall into like, my personal space. And yeah, like yeah. So it's such a crazy place to be in because I'm just giving myself grace and accepting it. Sometimes I'll sit and I'll think to myself, like, Porscha, are you going to be single forever because you're like this? And then, like, I'll get in my head and I'll be like, maybe I should stop being like this. Maybe I should be a little bit more understanding. It's like it's like the angel demon thing happening. Because I'll be like, the angel will be like, maybe you should be more understanding and just forgive. And then the other one's like, no, F that forgiveness. Like, they tried me. I'm not. And then the angel says, like, okay, well, we'll forgive. That's fine, because people are people, but we'll just let them be friends, and that's it. And that's like where the balance for me is happening. It's just more of just like, whereas in the past, I definitely was a lover girl where it was like, if I like you and we have chemistry, let's go together and let's just see how this works out. And now it's like, if I like you and we have chemistry, it's like, let's just see how this works out for a long, long while, and how long it'll take before you show me why you should either just continue being my friend or we should move to the next step. And who knows how long that'll be, but I think when you do the process of healing, part of it is learning to like sit with yourself and sit with what scares you. And sometimes what scares you is thinking like, oh, I'll be single forever. But then you start to like realize that's not that bad, because honestly, there's love everywhere. Like, there's friends, there's family, there's experiences, there's yourself. Like, there's so many things in life that you can experience on your own that stop you from actually being unhappy. Like, you actually can have fun by yourself. Not to say that you don't have those moments where you're like, you know what, it would be nice to just have someone to experience things with, because there's definitely that. Like, there's definitely those moments where you're like, I would love to have somebody that I can talk to or share this with. Or like, what was that? What day was that? Friday? Was it Friday? Yeah, Friday. I had the worst migraine in the history of mankind. And I really was just like, it would be so nice to have somebody to like rub this part of my head where like it was hurting and down here, and like, like I was like, oh, it would be really nice. But you also understand that like inviting the wrong person in that space can make the stressful things even worse. So it's best to just trust God's timing and take your time and be okay with the in-between space, okay? Rather than like rushing into something and then unlocking a whole nother batch of BS because you went too fast into something. Especially if you tend to be like a lover girl slash Capricorn like me. Like us Capricorns are deeply loyal to situations, mainly because part of being a Capricorn, and I say this because I've met so many Capricorns that are the same way, like we don't like to find problems that we can't solve. Like if there's a problem, we want to solve it, we want to get to the bottom of it. And so that goes with relationships. Like if we like a person and we're like, this is the person we're with, we don't like to be in situations where it's like, why isn't this working? Why can't we make it work? So we'll stay in things way longer than we should be in it because we're like, this should be working. I like you. I don't normally like people, but I like you. Like, why isn't this working? And the whole time it wasn't supposed to be working because you're not supposed to be with that person. You're supposed to let them go, but we'll sit there trying to like force something to work. So knowing that about myself, like a Capricorn does not find hard work. Like there's nothing that requires hard work that a Capricorn will run away from because it requires hard work. Like being a Capricorn is almost like, yes, it requires hard work. It must be worth the effort and we'll run straight to it. So knowing that I'm that type of person that will be in a relationship like, oh, I have to work hard. This must be worth it. That has really made me like take my time on figuring out what level of hard work do I want. Because at the end of the day, all relationships are hard work. But some things you don't want to work hard at. Like I don't want to work hard at having to be peaceful around you. Like I don't want to work hard at that. I want to work hard at figuring out where we're going to vacation at next. Like, babe, I don't know. I'm working so hard to figure out where do we want to go on vacation next. That's the kind of hard work I would like. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's the update that I can give you guys on my non-existent love life. Yeah, I mean, it's so strange because I used to be the person that was like dating. Like when I started dating somebody, it was because I wanted to be in a relationship with them, and it was because, and like the relationship was because we were going to get married. Like it was like this line that went from I like you, you like me, let's date, let's get in a relationship, let's get married. And there was no other path. There was no like, let's just date to see if we like each other, or let's just date to see if we're the type of people, like if I might like a situation like what you are offering. Or like I didn't see dating as experiments. I saw dating as like the obvious means to the end. The obvious means to the obvious end. And so now being in a situation where I'm like actually dating and being able to like throw the fish back into the water is like such a new thing, because I wasn't doing that before. Before I was like dating and I was like, this is my fish and we're just gonna make it work. And yeah, now it's like, you could have that conversation and be like, you know, on both ends, like, hey, is this working for you? Is this working for me? Nah, not really, but you're real cool. Okay, well, you know what? You are cool. Let's just be cool. Like, let's just be friends, because some connections are really just meant to stay as friends and nothing else. Or some connections are meant to stay as business and nothing else. Some people are meant to stay in your life for a purpose, and just because you guys connect doesn't mean it has to be romantic. You connect because you have to connect with somebody to like them enough for them to be around you, right? But maybe the purpose of that connection is for another reason. So, yeah, it doesn't always have to be like, oh, we connect. Let's try to force this into romance, because I think that's where it's supposed to go. No. So, anyways, yeah, so that's the update on what is happening in my life. And yeah, I mean, it's I think it's necessary because it's giving me the time I needed to like focus on my work and my writing, which like I said, it requires a lot of me right now. But yeah, you know, it's been such a great period of life. Like I feel like I'm in a period of reflection that has greatly helped my writing, especially when I'm writing about Nevea. I said Nevea, my bad. Nevea, who is the main character in the Fallen series in this book one, because she's kind of going through the same space as well. And I think if you've read any of my work, there's no secret that I put a lot of my personal life in there. I can't help it. Like, that's just how I am. I'm not a person that's gonna go on social media and be like, oh my God, da, 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 da. Like, I'm not that, but I will put it in a book all day. And that's just how it is. Like, I've tried not to do that. I just can't. Like, that's just how I write. I will put it in the book. And 9 times out of 10, the female character in the book is me. The male character is also me. Like, everybody has both masculine and feminine energies in them, and whether you identify it that way or not, it is what it is. And I just have a tactic of taking mine out, splitting them into 2 different characters and throwing them on a page, and they're both me. Like when I wrote Janelle and Outlaw and Bad Boys Do It Better, Outlaw was a lot of my inner thoughts. Like how he acted, how he did things was a lot of stuff that, because I've been socialized to be a certain type of woman, I had to keep it in my bubble, like in my mind. I remember growing up, I was told a lot, like, keep that in your bubble, don't say that. Just keep it in your bubble. Ladies are supposed to be this way. Well, Outlaw was that way because that was all of my stuff in my bubble coming out, like things I thought that I couldn't say. And so, yeah, like I've definitely done that with this book as well. There are parts in the book where Nevea is just thinking about, you know, her life as a single mother, because she's a single mother in the book, and just different things that she has to go through in that way, especially being a part of a friend group where, you know, a lot of her things in life, like that she's going through and things she's dealing with, her friends don't have any experience with that. And so a lot of that is in there. And then with Nasir, there's a lot of my thoughts in there as well, as far as just he struggles a lot with how he identifies with, you know, with his father. In the book, God is his father, but how he identifies with the feeling of like having a father who is absent, even though he's not absent. So a lot of that had to do with like when I was going through part of my spiritual journey where I was just like, I know there's a God. I'm not an atheist, but like, is God hearing me? Because I'm down here like saying a lot and asking for a lot and going through a lot, and I don't feel like nobody up there answering. And so there's a lot in there that he deals with, and I think a lot of us have had that same question a lot of times. So anyways, I said all this to say I really hope you guys enjoyed this book. I'll be on again tomorrow to talk more in depth about the archive, because it'll be out. You guys can look at it and I'll read from it as well. And so yeah, I'm just excited about it. I hope you guys are too. If you like videos like this, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and join me next time. And until then, just peace and blessings to all of you. Bye.